it's Kelly, and I'm back with another episode of Product Placement, and that's the video series where Rachel Reynolds and I each take a supply and we try to use it on a layout. So this month we are going to be using die cuts. That's what we've chosen to do, so I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. I have these two darling photos of my granddaughter with those two really cute teeth, and I'm going to mount them on that, mount those two photos on that Maggie Holmes heart paper, which is from Sunny Days. It's a Saturdays paper, and then I'll ink the edges with my Memento Dewdrop gray flannel ink, and that's just to give a little separation between the edges here. And then I'm going to mount that on that stripe paper, which is from the Maggie Holmes project pad, which you can get at Joann. So then I'm just pulling some die cuts here. I have that kind of ribbon piece, which may have been a cut apart at one point in time. I've kind of mixed a lot of that stuff up, so I can't always tell, but I'm using them like die cuts now anyway. And I didn't, these die cuts are all coming from Crepe Paper and Maggie Holmes. So right now I think these things are coming from Flourish, that pink heart and the gold frame there, and then that bow, also the, I believe, the flowers on the right, but don't quote me on that because I didn't write that down. I wasn't writing things down as I was using them, just because I pulled out all my little containers here, and these are 4x6 photo containers. I used to keep them in Crapper Hopper envelopes, but I've switched how I actually store my die cuts, and now I store them in a photo box, or actually photo boxes. I have 4 of them. They were getting kind of out of hand because I frankly have too many. So what I'm doing now is I'm working with the bottom cluster, and I'm trying to echo some of the things that are going on in the top cluster into the bottom, but maybe not exactly repeating the exact same thing. So I have that gold frame up at the top, so I've put that gold kind of little ticket kind of thing that says "You make my heart happy." I'm using flowers at the top and the bottom, but they're not the same. And now I'm going to repeat that same thing kind of in this cluster on the top right. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm really finding some shapes that are in common, but more I'm looking for color that's in common to bring these things together. So I've got that pink label up there, and I have that heart up there at the top right now. So that echoes the pink that's in the ribbon on the bottom there, and I have a tiny little pink in that label, or it's in the bottom left. I have a little bit of pink in the bottom right, but I'm going to work with that as well, and I'll tell you about that in just a second. So I'll keep looking through here to see what I can find. I was thinking about that sort of craft colored heart. It was bothering me though. I was thinking I wanted something bigger, and that's why I pulled that. But it's bugging me. Let's just say that it doesn't seem to be working. So I'm just going through any Crepe Paper or any Maggie Holmes die cuts that I have, and you can see I have a lot of them. These are all flowers here, so I think I was just looking to see if there were any flowers that I thought I might like to use. And I've got leaves in there as well. And so I just decide, let's glue down what I know, because I'm pretty satisfied with the addition of a few smaller things with the cluster on the left side and then the cluster on the bottom right. And so then I just take my punch. I'm going to punch this ribbon, and you can see I punched it, and then remembered that the top of that was hidden anyway by the flowers, so it wouldn't matter. And what I'm doing here is, as I'm working with these die cuts, I'm overlapping the die cuts, and I'm overlapping the matted piece of paper and also the background paper, so that it's kind of bringing everything together. And then to make it more cohesive, even though, you know, it's definitely similar looks because it's Maggie Holmes and Crepe Paper, I'm inking that with the Memento Dewdrop ink, and that again helps it even be more cohesive. And here, so that flower is touching the ribbon, it's touching the frame, it's touching the background paper, and it's touching the heart papers. So that's really pulling that cluster together, even though the elements are very different from each other. And again, another thing I'm doing is I'm using color to unite from cluster to cluster as well as I cluster things. So I'm trying to give you what my thoughts were as I was working with this and how I do it. You know, I should do one of these like this real time for you sometime, because I think that's where I just do a lot of clustering like this with die cuts and or stickers, because I think that really helps you get an idea of how my mind really works, which might be a scary place to go, guys. You might want to be careful of that. Anyway, so now I'm just gluing down things a little bit better. And again, if you get lost in this process, do what you know or what you know you want to keep, which I really like these two clusters, but I just wasn't settled on what was going to happen in the top cluster. I think part of it in the top cluster is I had a lot of pink, and I felt like I was missing something there. I didn't know what it was. So I'll do a little bit more looking, and I'll, you know, spoiler alert, I will solve that. So again, I'm going to do what I know, and I'm just going to use this Glitter Foam Alpha from American Crafts. They're the Happy Thickers, and I'll put two tiny teeth on there. So by the way, guys, this is the second go round for product placement for Rachel and I. We exhausted what we thought all the things that we could do in our stashes, and are going back to do a second round. We both enjoyed doing this quite a bit, so we're starting over again, and we just kind of each month pick a supply, and we honestly alternate months. The other thing though is if you guys have suggestions of things that you might want us to use, let us know that. You can just put that in the comments of one of our videos. And speaking of that, I will put the link to Rachel's video in the description of mine, so you can go right to hers. And then I also have a playlist of all of our videos, so you can find that within my channel. All right, so what I did is I was looking, and I found that little one there in yellow, and that was, or gold, and that was a piece I was missing because I have gold in the other two clusters. So that really helped things along. The other thing is I'm missing some pink in that cluster on the bottom right. I will get that with some puffy heart stickers from the Crate Paper Cirque, which I believe is from the Carousel collection, from the Puffy Phrase and Accent stickers, but I don't put those on until afterwards. I forgot I wanted to use them, and then just to that. So now I'm kind of looking at other things that I might be able to use, and I wanted some more of that light green. So what I'm going to do is take one of those leaves, and I'm going to use a heart punch to punch a heart here. And I did, by the way, spread a little bit of the gold title around with the asterisks in each of the three clusters, especially since there was definitely gold up in that frame, and there's gold in the flower cluster on the bottom as well. All right, by the way, if you're suggesting something for Rachel and I to do, don't suggest sequins, because we both swore we would never do that again, just so you know. It was, go back and look at that video sometime. Oh my gosh, we both were like driven insane by that. I am using these word stickers from the Maggie Holmes Sunny Days sticker book. So they're kind of see-through, so I'm adding happy moments, life is sweet, and XOXO. And that's just a little extra touch here. You know, stickers wasn't a thing, but I think it gives it another little dimension, as do the puffy stickers that I add at the end. And you will be able to see there's a puffy sticker, 3 of them, that I put in the left cluster and the bottom right cluster. I'm just cutting that sticker, word sticker, off just a little bit there. So again, don't forget to look for those puffy heart stickers, guys. I've got the still shot and a couple of detail shots coming up. Don't forget to go check out Rachel's take on die cuts this month, and hope you guys are all well. Bye!